Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, Chelsea news. We're talking Moises Caicedo, Chelsea's fourth bid that has been rejected. You guessed it. What are we going to do as a result of this? Do we go in with a fifth bid, a sixth bid, a seventh bid, an eighth bid, a ninth bid, a 10th bid? How long does this saga go on? And can Chelsea divert our attention away from Caicedo and onto Liverpool's top target, Romeo Lavia, a player that Chelsea have been tracking, Chelsea have been interested in. I think we made a move for Lavia last summer, but is it going to be enough? Chelsea coming into the market now with aggressive bids for Lavia when he's agreed personal terms with Liverpool. He wants to go to Liverpool. Liverpool have clearly got him as their first choice. And Chelsea, after being rejected by Tony Bloom at Brighton, Chelsea are now giving up seemingly on Caicedo, diverting our attentions to Lavia, or are we going to try and get Lavia because we see that as being an easier negotiation and then go back for Caicedo, in which case the negative outlook right now of Brighton reject again, all of a sudden, if that was the case, Lavia and Caicedo becomes a beautiful midfield window in a defensive sense for Chelsea. We've got Kudus, personal terms agreed there. Cherki, interest. Elise, interest, personal terms agreed. It isn't all doom and gloom, but it depends on the moves now. And Chelsea, we got our backs in the corner now. It's not looking good. We're going to go through the tweets here from David Ornstein of The Athletic. Chelsea's fourth Moises Caicedo proposal to be turned down by Brighton was 75 million quid with 5 million in add-ons. Brighton do not want to sell despite the midfielder's wish to go. CFC also considering alternative options, including Liverpool target Romeo Lavia. The Athletic post on their Twitter, Brighton want to keep Caicedo and it is expected to take an offer north of 100 million quid for them to consider selling the midfielder who is determined to join Chelsea. North of 100 million is a lot of money. Chelsea, we're talking about looking to spend 80 million on Caicedo. The talks have been Chelsea don't want to go north of 80 million. Brighton are only considering north of 100 million. So there are multiple factors here that basically end up with the result being Chelsea don't get their midfielder. Caicedo doesn't come to Chelsea. We are stuck. We need this kind of player. And the reason this is such a problem is because the season is just over 2 weeks away. We play against Liverpool in 16 days' time, which is literally just around the corner. Even if Caicedo was to come through, the deal isn't going to be quick. It's a big money move. We've got to get it done as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're trying to get Caicedo blended into this squad, gelling with his teammates, and I don't think Pochettino just throws him straight in there. We've seen good performances from midfielders during this pre-season, but we never wanted it to get to this point. Chelsea wanted to get this deal done early. Pochettino knew Caicedo was his number one target. Chelsea have known Caicedo's the number one target, and I feel as though now, realistically, the gap is still so big. It was 30 million, now it's still 20 million. We're talking about the fourth proposal that Brighton have just typed in on an email saying, no thank you. Chelsea know the price here. Chelsea know Brighton have been trying to call the bluff, but they haven't. They have been so regimented on this 100 million throughout the entire transfer window. Chelsea are like, nah, the player wants to go, persistence, this game will pay. And now, with 16 days to go till the season starts, the game isn't working. Chelsea's reluctance to go to that 100 million or north of 100 million fee is inevitably going to leave us with a massive hole in the midfield. And the debate at the moment is, well, people talk about Gallagher, we sell him for 50 million. Is Caicedo twice the player at 100 million? This isn't how football works. You pay for percentages in football. You pay for Caicedo's role. We've talked a lot during this pre-season about how we talk about standard positions in football, but the modern Premier League game is changing. Pochettino is a manager who will identify players for roles within the team. If you look at the way we played the other day, where we had both Gallagher and Chukwuemeka, it was difficult to know who was playing alongside the defensive midfielder because they rotated. There were roles that weren't definitive, but there was clearly, we've got to defend together and attack together. And with Caicedo, Enzo becomes that secondary player because then Enzo can get forward, but he can also get back, defend, retrieve the ball, collect the ball from the defenders or Caicedo to start attacks. It's so pivotal that Chelsea sign Caicedo or somebody with the same attributes as him. And I just worry that if, which it seems to now, the attention has gone onto Romeo Lavia. The Chelsea counter is coming. CFC ready to move for Lavia and even prepared to table a higher offer than Liverpool, having bid 50 million for him a year ago. Lavia is still sold on Liverpool. A move to Anfield remains more likely at this stage. My issue is Lavia and Caicedo are not the same player, and Caicedo is the mould of player that Chelsea need, and Lavia is not the experience that Mauricio Pochettino has expressed so strongly that he desperately needs in this Chelsea squad. It is a concern. Lavia is 19 years old. He's certainly not the finished article. Yes, he will become a player that I think is worth way in excess of 50 million. So much potential. Great footballer already. I think Chelsea will come unstuck with our midfield this summer if we don't get Caicedo. I really believe it. And it comes to a point where as much as 20 million is such a massive gap to bridge, not getting Champions League football again as a result of this season is, we're talking 9 figures here of Great British pounds that Chelsea will miss out on again. The commercial deals, the value of the Champions League. Poch wants Caicedo. Caicedo wants Chelsea. Chelsea want Caicedo. 20 million quid. We have now got to work on the sales of Lukaku, a bloke who somehow is still present at Chelsea Football Club, still getting paid by those at Chelsea, 300 grand a week. Romelu Lukaku cannot find a football club for love nor money. The only offers are from Saudi Arabia, but he thinks he's still a bit too good for that. He wants to play in Europe. At this point in time, right, if Chelsea somehow start the season with Romelu Lukaku still contracted to this club and Moises Caicedo remains at Brighton, I'm going to be fuming. I will use Lukaku as a scapegoat for why Chelsea's midfield looks shallow, in depth for this season. The next video that I post on GBFC today is going to be a depth chart of our squad currently that we've got on pre-season, going into this season, looking position by position, who can play where, just to illustrate how weak we could look in midfield. Gallagher still could be sold if the right offer comes in. So the question is here, is Lavia going to be enough? If Chelsea can't sign Caicedo, which it looks like we might not be able to, is Romeo Lavia going to be enough? My opinion on this is no. If we do bring in Mohamed Kudus from Ajax, then yes, he can drop a bit deeper. He doesn't necessarily just play in an attacking role, but it's relying on Pochettino again to mould him into something. There is also a very strong argument here that instead of spending 100 million on players, Chelsea should back Andre Santos, Cesar Casadei. And I see this. This could be one of those situations where Chelsea don't get their £100 million target sign-in, but could we create our own £100 million player at Chelsea with what we've got? It's a massive, bold statement, and it's not about making him Santos, Casadei, making them worth 100 million quid. But Chelsea maybe have gems on our hands here that are we as fans panicking, thinking that Caicedo is so desperate? I know it sounds like a bit of a backtrack on what I just said because I think we need Caicedo now. That's the point, and I do agree with what I said there. The issue is, if we don't get him, can Santos and Casadei be that player that we need Caicedo to be right now? If we can't get him, is it up to one of those two to step in? I think it would be. And I think Pochettino and Chelsea Football Club would be willing to do that because we're clearly unwilling to spend that additional 20 million that Brighton desperately want. They've never budged from this fee. 100 million has always been the asking price. And at this point, Santos and Casadei are going to have to fill that void of what Caicedo should be at Chelsea right now. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Is Lavia, if we can even tempt him from rejecting Liverpool to accepting Chelsea? Liverpool, there is his first choice. Liverpool wanted Lavia. Okay, they've not got Champions League football, but Lavia is wanted by Liverpool as their number one. Chelsea are now being more aggressive towards Lavia, trying to hijack the deal because we couldn't get number one. Lavia's number two. So if you're Lavia, where is your head turning to the fastest? It's got to be Liverpool at this point, surely. We finish off with the story regarding Callum HudsonAdoi. Chelsea, 4 million is the verbal proposal here from Fulham for Callum HudsonAdoi. We could have got 70 million for this bloke a couple of years ago. I know that's not really the point. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. I think if Chelsea would have seen how Callum's career didn't materialise, didn't develop, progress into what we anticipated it would, we'd have accepted that 70 million. Callum HudsonAdoi would have been at Bayern Munich, probably would be more of a player than he is now. That's not how football works, I'm afraid. You've got to deal with what you got. You have a plan for a player. If he goes to Bayer Leverkusen and he doesn't cut it, then, well, maybe Bayern Munich skipped on a player that they should never have spent 70 million on. But now Chelsea are in a position where we want 8 million. Fulham think a deal's going to be done soon. But wow, what a massive glow down when we thought it was going to be a glow up. 120 grand a week though, 130, 120 grand Callum HudsonAdoi is on. It's another big wage earner off the bill at the club. Will that be, if we can sell Lukaku to anyone, flipping, just get rid of him anywhere, make him the gardener if you have to, but don't pay him 300 grand a week for it. If we can sell these guys, then maybe Chelsea just suck it up and make that offer that Brighton want for Caicedo. Who knows? At this point, I have a sneak feeling that Chelsea might give up on it. If we get Lavia, we might just be like, right, save 100 million, don't go for him, and let Pochettino mould Lavia into a £100 million player, but we paid half the price for him. That's how I think this could play out, but I also think Lavia ends up at Liverpool. Let's see how this one goes. It is Friday today, so I think there will be movements, developments with these stories today. And of course, I will keep you guys updated as much as I can here on GBFC. Thank you for all the support recently. I just wanted to say, the 6 things we learned, 3 friendlies in pre-season, in excess of 100,000 of you have watched them every single time, which is mental. Thank you for the support. Hit the like if you enjoyed this one. Subscribe if you are new. Turn on the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Come on, you Blues.